Hello and welcome to another session of the Sqoop series. So in this session we will talk about export. Now all our examples previously where we were importing the data from MySQL into the HDFS layer, that is what happens most of the time, right? You wanted to move into the big data, you want to move it to the HDFS layer, so you copy this data, you import this data from the MySQL or any traditional databases into your HDFS layer. Now Sqoop also permits us to export the data. So export the data from HDFS into the MySQL. And again, this is something that we don't do it often, and I haven't seen any case where we had to export the data from HDFS into the MySQL. But there is a feature we can do that. We can export the data from HDFS layer into the MySQL layer. So here I'm at the edge node. I have this HDFS location. This is where we have imported some data, so the text null. So what we will do is we will export this data to the MySQL database. So before that, let me go ahead and delete this data. Right, we have the data deleted. I have committed as well, so I'll do a simple select star just to verify that there is no data here. This is empty, there is no data. Now what we want to do is we want to export the data from the HDFS layer into this table. For that we use a Sqoop export. So this is the command for Sqoop export. So this is a Sqoop command. So this is a Sqoop export command that we will be using it. So again, 90% of it is same. There's small changes. Instead of import we use Sqoop export. Then we have the current identifiers, you have username, you have password, table, then staging. So we need to create a staging table. So staging table should have the same structure as that of the actual table. Now what will happen is this particular table will first, the data from the export directory, this is where the data is present, this data will be copied into the staging table, and from staging table it will be moved into the main table. So this is a concept of having a staging table. So the first thing that I want to do is I want to go ahead and create a staging table. So I have a staging table created. This staging table now does not have any data, so it is empty. So now I am going to go ahead and execute this query. Okay, so we have this data. So as you can see that migrated two records from test stage to test. So first data is moved into this test stage and then from there into the test. So let me go ahead and verify this. So your test stage will not have any data because the command has run successfully. So the data which was temporarily stored in the test stage or staging table has been moved into the main table. So if I query my main table, I should see these two records, which is great. Now the question is, what will happen if when you execute a query, the query is executing, the data is copied from the HDFS location into the staging table, and then it fails, right? So when it fails, the data will still be stored in the staging table. So the next time when you run this command, the data is already present in the staging table. So what if we want to just, before we execute this command, we just want to clear the data in the staging table. So this is kind of a truncate end load. We just want to first make sure that the data is completely flushed out, and then only the new data that we want to import is moved into the staging table. So we can do that by making a small correction, not a correction, but we can basically say here. So here what we can say is we can use an option clear staging table. So what it will do is it is going to clear the data in the staging table before it gets executed, before it moved the data from the staging table into the main table. So this is a good option to have, because you never know when the command will fail, and then your staging table will have some data. It may have some junk data as well because it failed in between, right? So it is always a good practice that we clear the staging table before we execute this command. All right, so it has migrated two records from the staging table. So your staging table should not have any data here. And let me execute the main table, and you will see two more records which been inserted. Two records are inserted in the initial phase. The two records we have inserted just now by running another command. So this way we have exported this data. And again, this is something that is not commonly used, but this is a feature. It's a feature that is available in the Sqoop. So I hope this is clear, and I'll see you guys in my next class.